Hello, I'm Jason, and welcome to my anime review for Fate Apocrypha, specifically the second core of the series, episodes 13 to 25. I reviewed the first core of the series on my channel, so you can check that out there. This will serve as a sort of final thoughts of the series in general. And, for general thoughts, very good action series. The focus of the story was pretty muddled, especially with Jeeg and his story, and especially his relationship with Jean as well. That whole romance subplots, it became the plot at some points, and with that focus there, what really derailed the series for me. But the side characters were really compelling, especially Astolfo. He is sort of a main character, but his story was very remarkable. The fact that he survived the end and really had a happy ending at the conclusion of the series was really telling, especially all the heroic sacrifices that he made, especially with destroying the whole the Babylon Guardians with the Hippogriff, and really sacrificing his own life to take on Lancer as well in Karna. And so very interesting how that sort of played out there for Astolfo. The whole tragic backstory, I guess, tragic ending is for Jeeg and Ruler to sort of live together in this sort of parallel world created by Shiro, and also hang on to the immortality that he was going to give to humanity in and of itself there. That's a big philosophical sort of clash between Jeeg, Ruler, and also Shiro's side as well, that he wanted to save humanity by giving immortality and really taking away the desires of want and need. And for Jeeg, as a homunculus, he saw a different side of it, really investing in human intuition and human will, and giving them a chance at least, despite the evils that humanity can create. And so a very standard sort of philosophical battle, nothing really too compelling in my eyes anyway. Didn't really find much investment in that story there. The side stories were much more interesting to me. Adelante and her sort of corruption into darkness, as the death of Jack the Ripper and all the kids comprised of Jack were killed off by Ruler, who ruthlessly killed these children based on sort of a means to the end sort of reasoning behind that there. And so their clash, and the final clash between Adelante and Ryder in Achilles was really compelling, really nice ending there in episode 22, which sort of bearing the lead here. Episode 22, probably one of the best animated episodes in modern anime, at least. You can say that there. I'll put a link in the description down below on Sakuga blogs, sort of writing on episode 22 and also their final impressions on the series there. Really get into the production behind the whole entire series. You can just check out their whole thread on that there, but I specifically put in episode 22 and their final impressions to really get a sense of the production behind this, the passion the creators had in those particular episodes, and really them overcoming the production issues that came with this series, because at least in the original air date, there were like 2 recap episodes that I did not know about. Obviously, the worldwide release on Netflix, we got really just all the episodes without the actual air date episodes. But there were 2 recap episodes apparently in Japan, where you had a recap of the first core with the first 12 episodes, and then you had a recap of episodes 13 through 19 before the climax, where they do invade the castle, and they have this final confrontation for the final battles that we would see. And so typically recap episodes are really a sign that production is not going well. That's really the sign there for anime. There are exceptions here and there, but it usually includes long-running anime series like your One Piece anime, Dragon Ball Super, Naruto back in the day. Those recap episodes were kind of justified, because when you're watching an anime that comprises like 1,000 episodes or 700 episodes, a recap episode could be needed here and there, and so would need a recap of the last 100 episodes that you watched. But for a series like this with only a 2-core 25 episode series, having 2 recap episodes probably isn't ideal. And so despite all that, they still had a landmark achievement, episode 22, where it was just fantastic stuff from beginning to end. where you had the fight between Ruler and Alante, growing into the fight against Achilles as well. Then you had Cheek. Despite myself not liking him as a character, his fight against Karna was very epic, especially you take on the form of Siegfried as well. And then you had Astolfo come in, using one of the noble phantasms that he got from Achilles, using that, and just that epic moment there of him using that noble phantasm, a shield, to create this reality marble, to stop Karna's attack was so epic and so compelling. It really made me enjoy this series, and so just for that episode alone makes me enjoy this series, despite its flaws. And even with its flaws, it's not really that much different than any other Fate anime. Fate Stay Night is an example of this as well, where I wasn't really invested in Shiro's story, especially Unlimited Blade Works, that recent adaptation there. Despite me not being invested in his stories against Archer and against Gilgamesh, I still enjoyed the side characters with Rin and her story, Lancer, and his sort of arc as well. Those were compelling stories to me, and that was very much a really similar sort of thing here with the Apocrypha, where I did enjoy the stories of Stofolo and Alante. And also, even Achilles, he really grew on me as well, especially his fight against Chiron in the last episode before, episode 21. That was a really good fight as well. Very much a master-student sort of thing, where the student surpasses the master. That was a really compelling fight as well. Ruler, her story, I thought should have been more developed a little bit more. Her reveal of her having feelings for Sieg wasn't really that compelling. It wasn't really that surprising either. It wasn't really something I was invested in. For her story with Leticia, that sort of divide there, that would have been more interesting to focus on, but they chose not to focus on that, disappointingly. And it sort of resulted in muddled production and really just some episodes, especially that stretch between episodes 13 and 19, where it's just more of a slice of life sort of thing and not much actually happened. And of course, I would be remiss without mentioning Mordred, another compelling side character. It's very disappointing that she did become a side character, because our final fight against Semiramis was very great, especially that sort of potential kill shots that she had, and the death of Kyrie as well. That they developed this sort of father son relationship, son, quote unquote, but the relationship that Mordred never really had with Arturia, and that was a very interesting thing to look at. If you don't know about the history behind the legend of Mordred, put a description down below. As the same I did in my first Fate Apocrypha video of A&N featured, look at the stories behind each of the servants of the Red and Black factions. But Mordred's story is a very interesting one, and just more of a traitor throughout history, and they sort of redeemed that story there with Mordred and her portrayal. It was a very great portrayal, very underutilized in this series, but when she was utilized, especially in the battle against Semiramis, that was a very great use of her, and really making her like a badass sort of figure, more badass than I would say Arturia ever has been. And Fate Zero or Fate Stay Night, Mordred really distinguishes herself as a very much different character than her father, and it's very interesting. And I'm very disappointed that they didn't use a lot of her in this series. Wanted more of these side characters, but instead we got this main story that it played out very well here and there, but it kind of fell short in the end for me. And so episode 22 being a landmark achievement in animation, some fantastic action scenes here and there with Achilles versus Chiron, Mordred against Semiramis, and you also have Ruler sacrificing herself using La Pucella against Shiro. That was an epic scene as well. Even the music, I thought, for the second core at least, the ones when they used the opening theme, I thought it was a very good opening theme. Ending theme was okay. I like how it was used in episode 22 there, and then also the ending of episode 25 when they brought back the first ending theme and used that there. I thought those were really compelling uses of using the insert songs. And so for all that being said, gonna give this series a B+ rating. I thought it was a very enjoyable series, has its flaws, but nothing much different than any other Fate anime series. We put Fate Stay Nights compared with Fate Apocrypha, I think they're pretty equal in enjoyability. Each has their own strengths and weaknesses that sort of distinguishes each other in very much different ways. And so what did you think about Fate Apocrypha? For your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also make sure to like, share, and subscribe as well. Thank you for watching my anime review for Fate Apocrypha. Have a nice day. Bye bye.